My story begins pleasantly enough in the railroad station at Geneva, Switzerland. A young man bids goodbye to his family, a happy family, and to his fiancée as he leaves for the University of Ingolstadt.
Make us proud of you, Victor. If you're to be a doctor, then be the best.
I'll try, Father. Farewell.
Remember, our love goes with you.
Goodbye, Mother. And you, William, my dear brother. As for you, Elizabeth, my dearest...
I know. Words can't express our feelings for each other. I'll be looking forward to your vacations. And someday...
Yes, someday we'll be man and wife.
Hurry, my son. The train is leaving.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, Victor. Goodbye, my dear.
On the train, the young Frankenstein met up with his boyhood friend, Henry Clerval, who was on his way to another university beyond Ingolstadt.
I wish our destinations were the same, Victor.
I do too, Henry. But then I've never excelled at mathematics as you have.
And I've had no feeling for medicine. But let's never lose contact with each other.
Never. I promise.
As their friendship was bonded, neither young man had the slightest suspicion of the terrible events destined for them. One day in the laboratory at the University of Ingolstadt, the seed of dreadful inspiration was innocently planted in Frankenstein's mind by Professor Waldman.
Now I will put exactly 3 drops of the catalyst into the acid. 1, 2. Ready, Frankenstein?
Yes, Professor.
And the final drop. 3. Observe the reaction of the acid to the catalyst. My dear Frankenstein, you are seeing one of the basic elements of life itself.
It's astounding.
It's promising at any rate. Who knows? Perhaps next year, perhaps 100 years from now, man will have discovered the other elements which create life. And then he will be able to manufacture creatures in his own image which will do whatever he demands of them.
That night, Victor Frankenstein made the first entry into what was to become the account of a man damned by his own creation.
As Professor Waldman spoke, I felt as if my soul were grappling with a palpable enemy. And now, my mind is filled with one thought, one conception, one purpose. So much has been done, but more, far more, will I achieve. I shall go beyond these experiments. I will explore unknown powers and unfold the deepest mysteries of creation.
Thus, Frankenstein decided his own horrible destiny. And as the months passed, his studies brought him closer to his ghastly discovery.
One of the phenomena which peculiarly attracts me is the structure of the human frame, and indeed anything imbued with life itself. But to examine the causes of life, I must first have recourse to death. I must observe the natural decay and corruption of the human body.
It was shortly after midnight, and there was no moon when Frankenstein, bent upon the most morbid research, opened his first grave.
There. I've cleared the earth from around the coffin lid. According to the headstone, it's been here almost 3 years. First, I'll light this candle. And now, with this crowbar, we shall see what we shall see. Oh, no. What's that? Oh, just a dog. For a moment I thought, very interesting. Yes, this will be quite valuable.
For 2 years, Victor Frankenstein paid nightly visits to graves and vaults and morgues.
I can hardly hold this pen, so shaken am I with excitement. Tonight, something wondrous has happened. In the midst of darkness, light has broken in upon me. I'm amazed that among so many men of genius who have sought the answer, I alone should discover so astonishing a secret. I have learned the cause of generation and life. Even more, I myself am capable of bestowing animation upon lifeless matter.
From this discovery, a diabolical plan grew in Frankenstein's frenzied brain.
I shall build a man with bones and fibers and muscles and veins, a living, thinking man created from scraps. But can I do it? It will be a work of inconceivable difficulty and labor. But what a boon to mankind it will be if I succeed. I must attempt it. I must.
When he was ready to begin his monumental task, Frankenstein converted the top floor of a deserted house into a secret laboratory. And then he began building the framework of a huge man by using scraps of bone. From the neighborhood graveyards, he acquired other vital materials for his ghastly creation. Day and night he worked, using bits and pieces from dissecting rooms and slaughterhouses. The summer passed, and he was so intent on his horrible work that he no longer wrote to his family or to his fiancée Elizabeth or to his dear friend Henry Clerval. He even failed to acknowledge the death of his mother. Finally, one stormy night, precisely what he had been waiting for, Frankenstein felt that he was ready to bring to life the 8-foot-tall creature lying atop the operating table.
I've connected these wires to the lightning rod and conductor. One good strike will send power surging into him. And then, perhaps, life. It's getting closer. The next lightning bolt may do it. The charge went into him. Now, I must remove these electrodes and see. There. Now, there should be the spark of life within him if... His eyelids are twitching. He's breathing. I've succeeded in creating life, but I had envisioned a large, well-proportioned, pleasantly featured man, and what have I here? His sickly skin barely covers those arteries and muscles I worked on so long. His eyes, such a watery pale yellow. And his lips, they're black, like something horribly rotted and shriveled. Is this my creation? This monster? A mummy imbued with life couldn't be as hideous. The sight of him sickens me. I can't bear looking at him. I've got to get out of here.
The monster lay on the operating table for another moment, and then slowly began to move. Then it got to its feet. Its misshapen body dwarfed the room, and it had to keep its immense, nightmarish head lowered so as not to bump the ceiling. It staggered around the room as if trying to get its bearings. And then angrily it began smashing the laboratory. The huge monster in the shape of a grotesque human, put together with scraps from the dead and imbued with life by Dr. Frankenstein, had escaped. When he returned to his ruined laboratory and realized that his nightmarish creation was unleashed to menace the world, Frankenstein was horror-struck. He rushed into the night in pursuit of his demon, but the monster was nowhere to be seen. For weeks he sought the monster, but in vain. One day, Henry Clerval, Frankenstein's boyhood friend, arrived in Ingolstadt.
Victor, I'm here at the request of your father. It's been over a year since he last received a letter from you. And I, too, I've been deeply concerned. What's happened? You look as pale and thin as if death were hovering over you.
It is, Henry.
You should have let us know that you were ill.
I'm not. It's something else. But I can't tell you.
You need a holiday. Come home with me and we'll visit your family. It'll be good for you and it will reassure them.
Very well. Perhaps it's best that I get away from here.
Meanwhile, the monster, by keeping to the woodlands, traveling and feeding on fruit and berries only at night, wandered far from Ingolstadt. During this period, its brain, stolen from a cadaver, gradually awakened, giving thought and speech to its grotesque owner. And from a pocket of the large jacket Frankenstein had made for it, the monster drew out a scrap of paper.
Victor Frankenstein, Wilhelm Road.
The monster who had been wandering aimlessly had a destination. And within a few days it reached the cozy Frankenstein cottage. Inside the Frankenstein cottage, William and his father and Elizabeth, who had stopped by for a visit and was entertaining them, sat around a comfortably warm fire, unaware of the hideous face peering in at them through the window. Outside, the monster, cold and hungry, decided to seek comfort from the loved ones of its creator.
Wait a moment. We have another visitor. See who it is, my son.
All right, Father.
If only it could be Victor.
Father! No, don't come in. Get out. Father, Elizabeth, I'll try to hold the monster off. Run for your life.
Come, William, come.
No, stay up. I can't hold it. My throat is choking me.
call me. There is only one to blame for that. He who created me, Victor Frankenstein.
And when we returned to the cottage, poor William was dead and the monster gone. Oh, it's horrible, Father. And I am responsible.
You, Victor, dear. No. You're saying that only in grief.
I know whereof I speak. And I swear by all that's holy, that my brother's death will be avenged.
Oh, no, it's a matter for the police, Victor.
The police? They can do nothing. This monster is stronger than 10 men, and he has the instincts of a crazed animal. He can evade the police, but he can't evade me. No, not me.
Night after grief-stricken night, Victor Frankenstein searched the countryside for the monster, but to no avail. Then, one midnight, when he had fallen into a restless sleep, Frankenstein was awakened by sensing someone or something in the blackness of his room.
Who's there? Who is it?
I, Master.
You!
You made me hideous so that nowhere will I ever find love. You made me miserable beyond relief. You've meddled enough with divine power. Now you shall suffer for the rest of your mortal life for what you've done to me.
What do you mean?
Exactly that. You shall never know another moment's happiness. Goodbye, dear Master.
Come in.
Henry Clavell.
Yes? No! Take your hand from my throat!
Victor Frankenstein's dearest friend was dead, in a further gesture of the monster's vengeance against its creator. And soon afterward, the old man, the father, died of grief.
Gone. All gone. Everyone close and dear to me.
But you're not alone, my poor Victor. And I feel certain there is some measure of happiness awaiting us. Set a date for our wedding. Make it soon, dearest.
Very well.
Oh, Victor.
Perhaps if we're together, I can better protect you from that fiend.
Frankenstein, knowing the devilishly twisted mind of his creation, suspected that the monster would choose the wedding night to attempt to rob him of the last possible happiness remaining to him. And so, heavily arming himself, Frankenstein locked his bride in their chamber and went prowling the darkened hallways of the old inn, expecting to encounter the monster lurking in some shadowy corner.
Where are you, monster? You're here somewhere. I can sense it. This is too great an opportunity for you to shatter my last hope of happiness. Where are you? I'm ready for you. Is it you? Oh, a cat. The monster must have climbed through the window. I'm coming, Elizabeth! 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 Oh, no!
Elizabeth's broken body lay upon the bed, and the draperies swayed wildly in the breeze from the open window. Frankenstein peered out desperately, but he could see nothing. Then, from the blackness, he heard the hideous voice.
Vengeance is completed.
Beast! I'll destroy you yet!
You gave me life, but you can't take it from me. I alone shall do that.
What do you mean?
On the mountainside, I've prepared a funeral pyre. This miserable frame I myself condemn to ashes. I'll no longer feel the agonies which consume me. I'll be free of suffering, but your suffering has just begun. Farewell, my master.
Monster! Monster!
A short while later, a huge fire was seen just below the peak of the nearby mountain. Frankenstein, grieving beside the body of his dead bride, watched it numbly until the last flame had flickered and died. Then, slowly, he raised his pistol to his head. Frankenstein and the monster were both dead.